Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic is about gambling and vaping with regard to individuals in secondary and primary school. Realistically, the article touches on how individuals are coming into contact with these dynamics of gambling and vaping and how the local community is attempting to address these situations. I find the parameters of vaping and gambling to be well in connection with what may be outside of a school, with what may be outside of an educational environment. So as the educational environment engages with individuals that are experiencing situations with gambling and vaping, I think about how the worlds might be operating external to the educational environment. The article brings up the mental health situation as well. And to connect these dynamics of behavior, these dynamics of emotions, these dynamics of mental processes requires well comprehending how individuals may be coming into contact with these parameters, how individuals may be not only around these dynamics, though accessing them, especially if with supervision. What might be happening with communication regarding online communication that guardians, parents, supervisors might not be observing seems to be of what might be translating into a space of similar contact. So individuals that are able to communicate to such a degree online and find avenue offline, especially with individuals that have concern about the dynamics, may bring to light different areas that require attention regarding communication. The educational environment stepping in is valuable because gambling and vaping are external, an educational environment. Even if individuals might be behaving well academically, what else might be going on affecting an individual? These details are important. Addressing an individual beyond any standard of academic achievement, beyond any accolade, observing the individual as a whole person always proves valuable. There are instances of individuals that are very adverse experiences. Individuals with accolades upon accolades due to attention to the whole person not coming to realization. I think the educational environment, the community involvement, all are bringing to good attention the values of communicating, of being informative of what may be happening. And I think that there may be more opportunities to address how to approach gambling and vaping. What might be the reasoning for seeking the behaviors? What might be the reasoning for the way one might feel? And of course, being able to address the whole person requires acknowledging what may be beyond from where the person is. What may be beyond from the experience that a person might have to go through again, even after feeling free, after feeling like all resolves are possible. What might the individual have to proceed with through life till the actual point of freedom, where an individual will not have to face whatever an individual is facing so ongoingly, so much so that an individual feels like there is no break, there is no reprieve from the situation, aside from gambling, aside from vaping, especially if not able to access an educational environment, especially if not able to access a community center of which allows for one to be expressive, for one to not have to deal with what might not even be for one to deal with. The individual might not even be experiencing avoidance. The individual might be really making smart decisions to be away from a particular environment, a particular situation that may feel very oppressive. Not so much so that the individual feels as though the individual is engaging with forms of repression, though that the dynamics of safety regarding an individual's health are at hand for protecting, for ensuring thriving in the future. I think it's always wonderful when an educational environment approaches these dynamics. These are broad dynamics that are external to an educational environment, though educational environments may observe how behaviors trickle in, how the behaviors of individuals are growing and are malleable. And educational environments that try to be informative mindfully may really make a difference. Communities that work together may really make a difference. And with the world of free enterprise, one may recognize that operating along the most legal routes is important to ensure individuals have full recognition of rights, as well as full awareness of possibilities of life, and do not feel as though there are no ways to access those possibilities of life beyond from where one may be. The next article is about how jobs and educational environments may meet, how purposefully engaging education may bring well connecting parameters between an employment environment and an educational environment. The article is really going on about how the dynamics of these connections will be in conversation, especially at meeting a conference for superintendents, so individuals that care about the progressions of education and educational environments, and these academic parameters connect to industry. Education really is to help ensure individuals will thrive, be efficient, be effective in the world at large with modern progressions. And I find the values of these connections between learning well and industries prove that individuals and industries may thrive, supporting each other. I find the article engages with these dynamics, and I think one area to well address is language. Language is a very, very powerful connective fabric, and I think a skill that deserves recognition, especially across industries, especially in conversation with education, academia, connecting between jobs. English is a popular language, though one may find a hiring entity may be able to better appreciate one's skill set, especially if one has a niche skill set and speaks a language that may benefit an entity. And I find it fascinating that skills revolve around language. Communication is extremely important, reading and writing extremely important. So I highly value when a bilingual, multilingual dynamic comes into conversation, especially with industry. This is not a challenge to anyone that speaks only one language. This is an opportunity to recognize learning more broadly, as well as to expand on how one may comprehend a skill. There are individuals that recognize a skill that may be of a technical dynamic with engineering, with machinery, though not always with language, communication, which may prove to be very, very technical. So with all of these dynamics of education. It's wonderful when an educational environment encourages practically learning multiple languages, whether that be one language for a period of time in a year and another at another. I think the value of ensuring the broadening of skills, inclusive of language, really tends well to dynamics of globalization. Yes, one may be in one's country, though engaging with one's interest may align one with where one's interest may be elsewhere. All right, it's time for some origami. Today, we're going to make an origami cowboy hat. Now, I have a square sheet of paper, and what we can do here after we fold up this one time, no need to start with multiple folds here. For this one, we'll just start with a simple point-to-point fold one way, and we'll bring this portion down. So we're just going to fold down here. Let's see, we're folding down here, and after, we're going to bring the fold back up, and we're just going to fold across. Okay. So we'll have this point going across, and we'll fold to the other edge here. Now, what's interesting is one may be familiar with the cup origami. This is on the way to the cup origami, and we'll actually make the cup. So we'll bring down both flaps, okay, to their side. So the insides are showing, and we're going to press this in. We're going to fold it in pretty much flat. Okay, no need to worry if it's uneven. From here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold up the bottom part so that the line meets crossway, okay? So we'll just fold it so it'll meet crossway, and fold it here. So both sides folding up, and then we'll just slowly open both sides. And the other side of this is, well, we're going to open the hat from the bottom, and we're getting some form here. So what we'll do next is we'll just kind of stretch out that top part, and voila, we have ourselves a cowboy hat. Okay, and you can just put it on. All right. Put a little angle on. I champion reading physical books. When an individual reads a physical book, the brain physically changes. And the long-term health benefits from reading a physical book. Walking with Einstein. What's a comedy? A light read. The author, coming from a journalistic approach, engages with learning more about memory, learning about how the brain works, though engages memorization and trying to discover how to win memory competition. How do the winners do what the winners do? And the entire book is like a comedy documentary actual events, the author is going to individuals that compete, memory competitions, learning the skills, and the outcomes, the in-betweens are hilarious. And I really enjoy the text. I think memory is wonderful to engage with, especially from a skill point, thinking of how might one remember. And there are many ways to remember. There are many ways to embrace a lot of information in a particular way. And I think the text offers valuable insight into how individuals may use these techniques, especially for testing, rote memorization, and it's one way to address how to embrace storytelling, though I think the individual will have to embrace learning for oneself to engage with how one embraces information, how one learns, and what is valuable to one's learning. I well comprehend how I learn, and I think the text just brings about a very interesting world of experiences. And I think the text is really, really funny, and the experience all throughout is just comical. And I'm finding a lot of value through the experiences of learning of others, whether one considers the dynamics of retaining information which the book presents completely of learning. I think the area of learning which branches from the overall umbrella of context of the book and gauging how to approach using one's memories for lots of different tasks, and how there are many different ways to embrace engaging information. Very solid, very wonderful to assess for oneself, and of course I think what the book offers as is just a really comical, cool, fun approach. I really think the text is funny. Just a funny experience. Thanks for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward, Kevin Dufresne.